Bitcoin makes another all-time high, officially crossing $70,000. Right on cue, Coinbase goes down. What is going on? Why is Bitcoin not able to sustain a massive move after breaking all-time highs? We're going to discuss that. Does that also mean altcoin season is here? And what are some of the altcoins that you should have your eye on? What is the next narrative that's going to make you a lot of money? We're going to talk about that. Also, we're going to talk about ETFs and how BlackRock is about to cross or is about to overtake MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings. It took MicroStrategy over 2 years, and BlackRock is about to pass them in just 2 months. What does that mean for Bitcoin? Also, we're going to talk about Sony and how they created a new super NFT and how they look to integrate that into all their consoles and games. We have so much to talk about. Let's just get ready.
Hola! Is your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel. We take old, boring, stale information, repackage that thing up in a fun and sexy way. Man, oh man.
What was that?
We're right there. My hair was a little poofy. I had to pat it down a little bit. Now, we're almost there, man. We're almost there, man. We're scratching 70,000. 70,000 is right here.
If I'm not mistaken, someone did create a song that said almost doesn't count.
Wow.
Also, kicking off the show, big shout out to Crypto Billy, the $2 super chat. What are you doing, sir?
And also Crypto Pollo, 5 gifted memberships right off the
Billy said, who hits 100K first, Sin City or Bitcoin? Good question. You know what? I have the perfect analyst to potentially answer that question. His name is Forrest. Forrest, very important question. Who gets to 100K first, Bitcoin or Sin City Crypto?
Oh, wow. Sin City Crypto. Too bullish on the inflows.
My dude. Too bullish on the inflows.
The SCC inflows are just too much.
Is there a chart somewhere I can look at that or what?
Yeah, this is an analytics.
I don't know. I struggle to get real-time data. I just have to wait until like 10 p.m. every night for the numbers to sync up.
Fair enough. Guys, if you're new to the channel, this is our friend Forrest. He's part of our channel. Joins us every single Friday. He's one of the best analysts in our space. We love having him on. Fridays is my favorite show for that reason. It would be even better if Rob took an extra day off here and there, but that's not the point. Just kidding, Robin. I love you too. So BTC, guys, ATH, all-time high, $70,000. Forrest, why the hell can we not just like break out and then keep breaking out? What is going on, man?
Yeah. So, I mean, for people to buy the all-time high and send us higher, you really want confirmation that it's really broken. And for that to happen, you really want to see a strong base built up underneath the all-time high. So what we saw last cycle, it actually took 21 days for us to crack through 19.7 to 20K of just basically, knocking at the door of 20K for 3 straight weeks before we zipped through it. And then once we finally broke it, we 2x. We went to $42,000 with basically no pullbacks whatsoever. So. I think it's inevitable. The way things are looking, if these ETF flows stay high and we continue to see hundreds of millions of dollars pour in through these ETFs, but you really need that psychological confidence of, get rejected a few times. Is there actually demand below us? Is there actually support there? And once the market feels like there is support there, I think that confidence will come in and we probably break through and zip higher.
Awesome. What are your thoughts, Robin? Also, do you want to speak on the whole Coinbase going down every time Bitcoin crosses 69K?
There's nothing new, man. I mean, this has been happening for quite some time. Pretty much been happening since Coinbase has been around. Once you get these big price discoveries, or once you start testing the all-time highs, or just massive amount of volume, that goes down. And this isn't nothing new. I mean, I wouldn't dive into this and say something's broken with the Coinbase. When any website gets a surge in traffic, whether it's Apple or Microsoft or some new company offering services, or perhaps some new product that has crazy demand, websites go down. That's how it is. And at the end of the day, Coinbase, the exchange, is a website. And
but that can't be good, right? Because what do we talk about? Retail needs to come in. You're talking about
it's not that if it's good, it's just the reality of the situation. Here's the thing, like you can create a video game, and if all of a sudden it sells 7 times more than you anticipate, you don't have the network servers to run the multiplayer. It goes down. It's not that it's a bad thing. I mean, it's not a good look. I'm not saying that it's positive, but at the end of the day, like that's just how it is. If you have the hottest toy on the shelf in your department stores, in Target and Walmart, there's going to be lines for it. You're not going to have enough.
Yeah, but the store doesn't collapse.
Sometimes it does. I mean, have you seen Black Friday? I mean, it's. I'm not saying that the store like falls apart, but also the website didn't explode. It came back on. Was it 30 minutes later? It's just you have to have the infrastructure and the network to handle that amount of volume. That's all.
Robin, they've been around for over 10 years.
Okay, well, give me a top 10 company that hasn't had their website go down when
consistently.
Yeah, I'm just saying an internet-based website. Give me an internet company to do a little research and say like, hey, their website has never went down. Like, I mean, honestly, it's
not about never going down, but it's
not a network. It's
Robin,
the website. It's the website.
But Rob, this is 3 times now.
So
3 times in a matter of a month.
It's the biggest U.S. exchange with historic volumes going on. Like, I don't. What do you want from this? Are you advocating for getting rid of Coinbase?
I'm advocating for hire some damn people to fix your website, dude.
It's not. It's to handle the traffic.
Yes,
that's all it is.
Get Firedancer or something. Hit up Solana. There's. Are you buying into any of the conspiracies, Robin? This is done on purpose.
Why would it be done on purpose on a publicly traded company?
I don't think that
they're going to risk everything to manipulate the price by turning their own website off for a couple hours.
Okay. Forrest, do you have any input on this Coinbase going down thing? Are you buying into any of these conspiracies here?
Yeah, I agree with Robin here. I don't necessarily buy into the conspiracies that Coinbase is behind it. I mean, it could be market manipulation, but not by Coinbase. It could be like DDoS attacks where the servers are getting spammed around all-time highs to maybe manipulate the market in some way. Not necessarily saying that I buy into that either. I think it's just a large influx of people, and I think server costs are super, super expensive, and handling a very large amount of people is very difficult. So you look at CoinGecko. CoinGecko has been going down. You look even at Facebook, like, non-crypto related stuff. Last week, Facebook and Instagram went down for a period of time. When you have a lot of users, it is difficult to keep 100% uptime. And also just in terms of server costs, right? If you're seeing like 4x, 5x the amount of people that you were seeing in the bear market, or maybe even 10x, who knows how many more have come into the space. Your server, like you'd only want to pay for the kind of like the minimum amount of server costs that you'd use, right? You don't want to overpay for server costs 24/7. But then when Bitcoin goes and is attempting to make an all-time high, you get these huge spikes where everybody's logging in. So you might, let's say you have 40,000 people visiting your site at any given time. But then that spikes for a very brief window of time while everybody's watching Bitcoin from 40,000 to 400,000. That's a really big differential. But you don't want to be paying server costs to handle the load of 400,000 people 24/7, because that gets it's 10x more expensive, right? So I think it's just a cost measure that's just very, very difficult to handle, because you could say just like Coinbase, pay more money, but like these spikes could be for these brief windows of time could cost them 10, 20x, just significantly more amounts of money to increase their
Forrest, do you know how much money they're making, Forrest? Do you know how much money they're making?
Yeah, but I know that you don't want to pay 10x on server costs. I know server costs are super, super expensive. They are making a ridiculous amount of money, and they probably will and have to should pay that money. I agree, but I think server costs are like extraordinarily expensive. And that was what Brian Armstrong came out and said. It was just like, it's super, super expensive. And the popular sentiment, to your point, was you are the number one exchange in the world, essentially, publicly traded company, just pay the money. I agree. But I will say it's expensive. It's expensive.
I agree with you guys. I like to play devil's advocate from time to time, kind of address some of the community's concerns. I know a lot of people are saying, hey, this is coordinated. I do not think it's coordinated. Like Robin mentioned, they're a publicly traded company. I mean, it just doesn't make sense, right? I would be extremely surprised if that was the case, but it doesn't make it okay that every time Bitcoin gets to 70,000, your website is down. It's not okay. Brian Armstrong, you need to fix it, my friend. All right, let's talk about some ETF flows. So BitMEX research said net inflow yesterday was 472 million. Another strong day where Fidelity performing well with almost $500 million coming in from Fidelity, over 10 billion withdrawn from Grayscale since January 11th. $10 billion in a month and a half, let's call it 2 months, has been sold, and Bitcoin is at all-time highs. Just saying. BlackRock yesterday, 244 million of inflows. Again, Fidelity 473. Big day for Valkyrie. Their Burr. I didn't realize their ticker was BRR. Robin's favorite. Anyways, 41.8 million there. So net 472.6 as Grayscale saw another big day of outflows at $374.8 million flowing out of GBTC. We have this from Hunter Horsley. I believe he is the CEO of
Bitwise.
Bitwise, yeah. Bitwise ETF has traded over $200 million in 3 hours today. Investors have many options. I'm proud of Bitwise's 6-year track record as a specialist in the quality of our product, but we're certainly not the household name that others are. Pretty much saying thank you so much. It's interesting to see, Fidelity has big days. BlackRock, obviously, foregone conclusion, they have big days. Then you get like ARK will have a really big day, and Bitwise will have a really big day. And then Invesco really hasn't had a big day yet, but that could change. Let's take a look at Invesco. Have they had a really big day? Their biggest day was 63.4. They've actually seen outflows. Look at that. They're one of the only first 9 that saw outflows. Well, that and the Van Eck one as well. Everything else has been nothing but inflows. So, then this is what I was referring to earlier. MicroStrategy owns 193,000 Bitcoin. BlackRock, just BlackRock, one of the ETFs, holds 191.2. After today, BlackRock will pass MicroStrategy on Bitcoin owned. MicroStrategy took 3.5 years to reach it. BlackRock did it in less than 2 months.
The
Rob,
difference is that MicroStrategy owns the Bitcoin for themselves, and BlackRock is custodying Bitcoin for its clients. And so big difference there, right? Now, BlackRock, we covered yesterday, is purchasing Bitcoin for themselves or for their own company, and they don't have as much as MicroStrategy does for themselves, right? And so you can sit here and say, hey, this bank is custodying X amount of dollars, but how much of that is customer funds? And so I don't know. I MicroStrategy is still the big boy on the block, right?
not for long, bro.
No, well, I mean, I'm saying like they own it
For
like
them, yeah.
Their customers can't. There's no customers can't sell it.
Yeah.
Like now here's the thing. Like I'm not trying to take anything away from BlackRock. I mean, it's absolutely huge, right? I mean, they are essentially the biggest bank now for crypto. I mean, that's essentially what it is. It's banking services and for crypto, but it's offered in an ETF. It's you don't have the ATM window and all the other services that a traditional bank has, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like banking services, but for crypto for U.S. residents, right? It is an investment at the end of the day. At least the ETFs are packaged that way, but very interesting. I'm very curious to see what'll happen when banks actually get exposure to crypto. And I know we've discussed the.
You're talking about get exposure like through custody?
Yeah. You know, instead of the same services that a traditional bank offers for fiat currency, where, hey, you have a savings account, a checking account, or they also have investment accounts. I'd be very curious to see what kind of services will line up with banks here in the near future. I don't think it's very far away. They're trying to repeal what was it, a provision on the
SOB 121.
So yeah,
The accounting bulletin.
Accounting bulletin. That's what it is. So they're trying to repeal that, or at least get some kind of
No,
proper
they're trying to
regulation.
repeal it.
They're trying to repeal
Yeah.
it, but they're also discussing putting it in proper regulation for banks when it comes to them operating with crypto. And at the end of the day, it kind of makes sense. I mean, for people that have no interest and no expertise in no interest to learn about, or no expertise in crypto, and they don't want to learn about it, they just want to custody. You know what I mean? Like, just say they're a musician and they're like, I don't have time. I know, I see that the potential of Bitcoin. I'd like to have some. Maybe they're not Wall Street people. Maybe they just want to have some Bitcoin in their bank account, or perhaps altcoins eventually. Yeah. So I'm excited to see banks get into it, man. And I know it pushes against the narrative for the crypto degens, where like, hey man, you got to custody yourself. I'm like, well, yeah, that's cool. You have that option.
Yeah, you have both options.
Yeah.
As long as both options are available, I don't care.
But the thing is I know I've met and I know tons of people that don't want to custody themselves. And honestly, I don't think that
I know some crypto people that don't want to custody themselves.
Yeah. And I don't blame them. I mean, hey, if you got more important things to do, and you don't trust yourself, you got kids running around, or you got a crazy ex-wife or something. And you know what? Like,
here's the thing, right? If you purchase Bitcoin just to speculate on price, nothing else, have your bank custody it. Buy the ETF. It's easier on your taxes. You don't have to worry, but you offload that risk to someone else. Now, on the other hand, like me, if you purchase Bitcoin because of other reasons, not speculation, because you want access to the largest computer network in the world, the most decentralized money in the world, one of the hardest commodities and assets in the world, and that's kind of something you plan on using maybe in the future, then yeah, you should definitely custody yourself. You're not going to get those benefits from holding an ETF. But 95% of people just want number go up. They have a point they want to sell. They want to sell their Bitcoin. Fine. Let your bank custody it, buy an ETF, call it a day. Forrest, go ahead. Do you have something to say?
No, I was just quickly going to give a shout out to the chat here, but I'll just go ahead and knock it out real quick. So if you're new here, say hello so we can drop an hola back at you. We got Maria R, Martin Kelly, GM, Maria without a last name. We got Woo, Catlin, Synergetics. Dude, these names are hard to pronounce, bro. Synergetics. You got Abe, Penne, Mike Play, Mikkel, Avery, Monty, Zach Sips. To all of you, Allah! Welcome to Sin City Credit. Also, Billy Goat Tails dropped a $4.99 super chat, agreeing with Forrest, saying he's the goat there. Also, let's get the likes up. 370 on the viewers, 120 on the likes. So right around 30 something percent like ratio. So let's get this thing going.
Guys, we did post a job opening on Indeed for community shouter outer. So if you're interested and have skill set, just pretty much pronunciation, and if you've maybe read a dictionary, please feel free to apply. Forrest, any outlook on the ETFs? I know we kind of talk about this every day, but it continues to make just like record numbers. Any insight you want to share, or any thoughts you got as far as how it's going? We're 2 months in almost.
Yeah, so far so good. It really just comes down to how much capital is going to be allocated. There's a lot of liquidity out there that now the gate has been kind of opened for it to flow. The dam has been broken for it to flow into Bitcoin. Before, it was very difficult for all of that money that was sitting on any brokerage account, right, that you may have control of, or a fund has control of, for that to get into Bitcoin. But now it's just a simple trade away. You can sell your Tesla stock, you can sell your Nvidia stock, you can sell your Apple stock in one click. and get right into direct Bitcoin exposure through one of these ETFs. So it's just a lot easier for that liquidity to flow into Bitcoin. And of course, you have your infinite bid, meaning what portion of retirement funds, pension funds, 401ks are going to be allocated to Bitcoin ETFs now. So, think of somebody, working their regular job, and a portion of every paycheck goes into a 401k match from their employer. Well, if, let's just say, out of that allocation, a percentage of that goes into Bitcoin now, that means that there's just an infinite bid every single month, more and more money flowing into Bitcoin. And that is a very positive thing for Bitcoin's price.
Amen to that. Before we move forward, I do want to give a big shout out to our channel sponsor, CAMS, Blue Wire Technology. If you want to learn how CAMS can help your business scale, grow, and maximize your networking, IT, and cybersecurity so you can focus on making money for yourself, you're going to want to visit bluewiretech.com, pick up the phone and call them, or click the link in the description of this video. Now, the title of today's live show is Bitcoin hits all-time high, but alt season is alt season here. We're going to get into the markets here in a second. But here is a visual representation of when meme coins are pumping, but you are all in on altcoins with, quote, utility. The market, just like, we talk about, oh my God, Solana, this throughput, it's record-breaking new phone, dApps, and oh my God, Ethereum.
Solana is up. Solana's been outperforming.
Let me make my case, dude. Let me set.
If they were going to any altcoin, you could pick any altcoin.
Ethereum. Oh my God, 30 billion total value locked. The number one smart contract. Avalanche, subnets, fast, and you got cat with hat with dog. That is up 6,000%. What's your outlook on the market where it is right now, Forrest? We hear the term frothy thrown around a lot, like a frothy market. Can you maybe explain what that means to maybe someone who's watching that is new to our space? And what are some, and you feel free to chime in too, Robin, what are some, maybe not indicators, maybe there are indicators, but some things to look out for that tell you, hey, we might be approaching like a, short or midterm top on whether it's meme coins or altcoins?
Yeah. So you want me to bring up a chart real quick?
If you'd like to, yeah.
Sure. Let's go here. We'll share. Here's Bitcoin versus Bitcoin. So first, we are running into some resistance on Bitcoin dominance. So this, kind of black chart here is Bitcoin dominance. Basically, when this goes down, that means altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. When this goes up, that means Bitcoins are outperforming altcoins. Well, it's been going up for a while, as you kind of see in a bear market in the first innings of a bull market, right? When Bitcoin down here in the blue, that is Bitcoin's price, right? And this is where we broke the previous all-time high, which is very important in just a second. When you start to see Bitcoin moving upwards, it leads the rest of the market and then just kind of drags altcoins with it. Now, this is pretty in line with what we saw last bull market. Once we really recovered from COVID here, we saw Bitcoin, sharply move upwards in dominance, outperform everything. And then after Bitcoin crossed its all-time high and zipped up to 42K, it basically ran super, super hard for a couple of weeks with no corrections. And then once we got that first big correction in Bitcoin from 42K down to 30K and that consolidation, that's where the altcoin show just completely took over. So today we took our second attempt at breaking the all-time high. I mean, technically we broke it, but we didn't sustain above it. Normally what you'd expect is some sort of breakout for Bitcoin. And I don't know if it'll go through this trend line or maybe it'll be a little bit different this time. But as we kind of approach this all-time high and try to break through it, you'd expect a pretty sharp stab upwards for Bitcoin dominance, and then altcoins to follow suit at some point in the next couple days, couple weeks. What's kind of bullish in this entire space is as much as altcoins seem like they've performed up until this point. I know recently they're kind of lagging against meme coins, but as much as altcoins are actually up, they still have not taken back significant market share from Bitcoin. Bitcoin's, altcoin dominance or Bitcoin dominance was all the way down here, and for a very extended period of time through the entire distribution phase of last bull market where Bitcoin was, trending between $40,000 and $60,000. And then for basically the first, inning of the bear market, we saw altcoin dominance very, very high. And it wasn't until Bitcoin started moving back up again that we saw this dominance chart rise. So I actually think that we are, this is, if as Bitcoin breaks its all-time high and continues through its all-time high, that is kind of the closing of the first chapter or the first stage or first inning, if you will, of the actual bull market. And that kind of opens up the second inning of the bull market, the second chapter, second act, whatever you want to call it, where altcoins actually start seeing just absurd valuations. And I know it seems frothy right now, but I don't think we're at the level of frothiness that we've really seen before. We're not at Shiba Inu at $35 billion valuations yet. We're not seeing retail come in and we're not seeing retail doing Twitter dance or doing TikTok dances on TikTok. We're just not seeing the signs that retail is up significantly. And until retail is up significantly, I don't think we're too frothy yet. I think there's still some room to go. All of that assuming, of course, that the economy and stock market and Bitcoin in general all kind of stay intact and allow for us to see some speculation into altcoins. But yeah, I think what's going to happen next is, in my opinion, I'll stop sharing my screen here. I think what very likely happens, it's my base case, would be that we see a Bitcoin all-time high, maybe it pops to 75, 80K, and then we see a sharp increase in altcoin speculation and altcoin dominance.
Robin, if that does play out, what are a couple of your favorite altcoins that you want exposure to before that happens?
I want to go where the market is, right? Where's the transactions? Where are the popular dApps? So I want to be in those ecosystems, and then just scale down the risk curve accordingly, right? So big fan of Ethereum. So for me, hey, I like Ethereum.
You like those gas fees, huh?
No, it's obviously not perfect. I mean, you can sit here and say the same thing about Bitcoin. And you can be like, oh, I love Bitcoin. Well, you know what? There's a one block every 8.5 minutes produced. Has a higher transaction fee. Was it about $3 to $6 for a Bitcoin transaction, unless the ordinals are kicking. So I mean, you can sit here and make a negative case to any blockchain, right? But for me, I like Ethereum's ecosystem. Sure, it's not perfect, but there are other projects in Ethereum that are looking very, very good as well. So when I talk about Ethereum's blockchain being one of my favorites, doesn't necessarily mean that, like, hey, I'm going all in and purchasing Ethereum. Actually, quite the opposite. I'm looking down in the Ethereum ecosystem, like, hey, let's start with DeFi. Let's look at perhaps some NFT plays. What are some memes there? You have the staking protocols, the rollups. You have the Polygon option, where it's like, hey, here's an alternative that still works with all the most of the developers that are on Ethereum. A lot of them have ported over to Polygon. And so for that's things that I identify. Also, I really enjoy the Solana ecosystem. We got a video coming out a little later today on Solana. The momentum that Solana has, you can't, even if you're not a fan of it, you can't deny it, right? You could be a home run. You could love BlackBerry and Nokia and Samsung, but when the iPhone first came out, you can just sit here and be like, man, this thing, even if you don't like that style, you're not a fan of the company, you have to understand that it's moving and it's getting adoption, and people are crazy about it, right? And I might not play in the Solana ecosystem as much as you two do, but I see that it's here to stay, and there's a lot of people that want to play with it. And so for that reason, I recognize it's not going anywhere. And if anything, it's going to speed up, accelerate, and get more adoption. and probably grow significantly compared to some of the other layer ones. And then also a big fan of Cardano, just simply off of what he did last year. I mean, I'm not even saying that like, hey, no, I'm a fan of the project itself, but just historical data. Last bull market absolutely popped off. So here you had its initial release. This is exactly what you want to see in these altcoins or any chart, is that when the market turns bullish, that the price corresponds. So you can see it significantly outperformed its previous all-time high last bull market, and I think it's going to do the same this next bull market. So I think that this chart here, this last bull market will look comparable from the bull market before,
does that mean
as far as gains.
Does that mean a $10 Cardano?
I think it's on the table. It wouldn't surprise me at all. There is remember when everyone was talking about meme coins, and then also Cardano and Solana last bull market, right? Everyone all of a sudden wanted to mine Ethereum, wanted to talk about Cardano, and they wanted to speculate on NFTs. That was last bull market. I do think that all of that comes back, even the NFTs.
Okay. I do want to take a look. I know Forrest went over the Bitcoin chart. I want to take a look at one as well. I got Bitcoin on the hour here, and it looks like we are in an ascending wedge, right? And then we just broke out of some tight Bollinger Bands here, and the move we saw from the breakout to wick was about 5%. Where we're at right now is about 2.5%, and it looks like we rejected off the upper trend line. And can Bitcoin be range bound? Of course, this is the 1 hour. So as you can see here, a lot of big wicks, guys, right? What do wicks tell you? Wicks tell you that there is indecision in the market. Bulls push the price high, but bears reclaim control and it closes red. In this case, bulls push the price all the way to 67,800, but price closed at 67,000. So high volatility, indecision in the market, right? As Forrest mentioned, people want to know, hey, is there good support below this all-time high? And you can see here on this wick from earlier, $70,160. This is according to Coinbase. I am going to put on the price action concepts, a premium indicator from Lux Algo, and I'm going to get rid of these two trend lines. Take a look at here exactly why Bitcoin is getting rejected. You can see here from the order blocks, around 30% of the buying and selling has been happening in this range around all-time highs. As you can see here, with the majority being sells, which is why, and also right above that, we have our premium zone, which is typically where people are taking profits. And so this is exactly how we're seeing it play out. I mean, this red candle on the hourly here, from wick to wick, was a 4% candle on an hour chart, not a day chart. I know we saw a $10,000 day chart, but this is an hour chart. You can also see on the opposite, this level here between 66.7 and 67.1, about 32% of orders are coming in, and a majority of those are buy orders. You can see how price is reacting to this area as well. So this is a great indicator to use to see, hey, what is the market doing? Where are the money flow coming in? And we had a massive liquidity grab right around, this was around 8 o'clock this morning Pacific time, where it dipped all the way down to 66.9 and shot right back up. You can see here from the matrix oscillator, pretty green here. Everything's green. Money flow is green. Hyperwave is up. And we also got a buy signal on this green candle, although we are printing a red candle right now. And then taking a look at the RSI, nothing really to, I mean, it's not oversold. It's not overbought. It's actually closer to being overbought than being oversold. But again, in the bull markets, this does not necessarily matter as much as it does in, let's say, bear markets or on shorter time frames. And so obviously, overall outlook on Bitcoin is very bullish. Still don't understand the people that are still saying we're going to see a $10,000 Bitcoin. No idea what the hell they're thinking. But yeah, that's what we're looking at for Bitcoin. So until we can break this all-time high, expect a retest of Who knows? Forrest mentioned 18 days. We doubled. Can we see the same? Yeah. What does a pullback look like? Is it going to be another 20%, 25%? Or could it be a lot less because we have massive liquidity from the ETFs? If anyone tells you they know the answer, they're lying because no one knows the answer. No one, because it's something we've never seen before.
I still like the thought of 90,000 by the end of the month. I know.
By the end of this month?
Yeah, I know we were talking about it. I don't know, man. I think once we break past the 70K mark, we really get into price discovery, right? And I just look back at last bull market when the previous all-time high was, from the market before, basically going into 2020. At that time, we were looking in the rear view. All-time high was 18,000, 19,000. When we broke past that amount in 2021, once we crossed 18, 19, we didn't stop till we got to 30. And so that I look at it in this very similar light. I'm like, hey, man, once we cross the all-time high and we're above 70K and it's confirmed, at that point, we're off to the races. And I think it's a very short window before we get any massive pullback, right? I think we go and flirt with 100K. I don't think in the short term, say within 30 days, I don't think that we get above 100K. I mean, maybe we do, but I don't feel it. I don't feel that's what's going to happen. But me personally, I'm telling you, I think we shoot past 70K. Maybe this weekend. I would watch out. Today is Friday. Monday last week, or this Monday, is when we saw Bitcoin over here about to break the previous all-time high, right? We started the week off with a banger. And the week before, we started with a banger, right? And I think what's happening is that people on Wall Street are going home for the weekend, hanging out with their friends and family, and discussion around the bar or around the dinner table is how successful the Bitcoin ETF is. I think people are coming in on Monday and they're like, you know what? Let me get some. And if anything, you can just look at the price action on Monday, this Monday, previous Monday, or at least the volume on those 2 days. And you got to be like, hey man, let me front run this. Let me put in some buys on Sunday. And so I do think that 70K is crossed over this weekend. Once we're above 70K officially, then we're off to the races. I think by the end of the month, we're over at 90K.
So, Robin, to your point, this is Bitcoin on the daily. Last Monday, February 26th, we saw a 5.5% candle, green. Last Monday, we saw an 8.24% green candle.
Yeah, and I mean it's not just price either. I mean we're kicking the week off, and Rocco, if you want to pull up my laptop here, this one just shows you how much more volume we're getting week to week. And so the opening day here, it might not seem like it's it's obviously not the strongest day of the week.
Are those volumes or flows?
These are volume. So this is just the volume. So these two. So this is the 5-day trade week. This is the Mondays. You might look at it and be like, well, you know what? 2 weeks ago, Wednesday was the strongest day in volume. This week, Tuesday was. However, if you don't look at the other 4 days, you just simply look at the opening day, and it's significantly larger than anything we've had before. Look at this opening day candle for this week. Bigger than everything other than the first trading day of ETF. Then you go into this one, and it's bigger than every day other than the Wednesday the week prior. But I would expect
the Wednesday that week was the big.
Yeah, so I expect the volume to eclipse the previous 2 Mondays as well. And if the volume eclipses the previous 2 Mondays,
Definitely a trend. I mean,
dude, it's gonna break 70K. It is. I mean, BlackRock just scooped up BlackRock scooped up 12,000 Bitcoin over
Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, over Tuesday, and there's only 900 being mined. So I mean, if the volume keeps increasing and the amount of inflows are also increasing to a level that is more than 10x what is being mined in one day is being purchased in one day. If you don't think the price is going to go up, I mean, it's just sheer markets 101 here, right?
Forrest, 90K end of the month. You think Rob had an extra cup of coffee this morning, or you think he might be onto something here? What do you think?
It's possible, but 90K end of the month, that's a little on the high side compared to what I'd probably put it at. I do think that we could see acceleration. Don't get me wrong.
It does kind of, Forrest, it does kind of line up with what you said, right? 18 days.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, last market cycle, we zipped up there. But I will also say last market cycle, it did take us 21 days from the first knock on the door of all-time highs. So I could see a scenario where, maybe there's a lot of supply at $69,000 to $70,000 and there's a lot of sellers up there. And maybe the stock market cools down next week and we see another week of consolidation underneath $69,000, $70,000 and then we explode. It's very difficult to try to predict these things. There's really no way for me to know for certain. But yeah, I mean, I think acceleration, my base case for a while now has been acceleration to the upside, so long as we continue to see these strong ETF flows. This week has been tremendously big with, an average coming in of $500 million per day. I agree with Robin. If we see that increase, if we see that accelerate and we come in next week with a $700, $800, $900 million day, we'll probably slam through all-time highs and start ripping. I could see 90K by the end of the month, but I wouldn't say it's concerning if we don't. I wouldn't say it's concerning if we're still at 70,000 or 65,000 in a couple weeks. I mean, it just takes time. What I do want, what I've said before too, is the longer we consolidate underneath $69,000, $70,000, the better base we've built there. If we just zip straight through $69,000, $70,000, then you very likely get a back test of it, right? If we don't consolidate underneath it and we don't build support or future support there, and there's not a ton of confidence there, we could zip up to 75, 77, 78, and then come all the way back down to 69, 70 as a back test, which could be painful too. So it's no matter which way you look at it, would you rather consolidate for another week or two and then be able to go straight to 90 without a pullback, or would you rather cut through 70 now and then back test it with a 10, 15% correction later on? I don't know which is preferable for most people, but I do think it's probably one of those two scenarios.
Guys, real quick, I want to ask you both a question, then we'll move on. We always talk about inflows. Well, what about outflows? At some point, people are probably like these people, they see 200% gains, probably going to realize some profits. Do you think these ETF investors are going to look at Bitcoin and see the compounded annual growth rate at that 30 or that, I forget what the number was, 100 and some percent over the last 10 years? And they're going to say, hey, we're in it. We're okay with the volatility. We're going to hold on to it for 10 years. We're going to realize that 130% year over year. Or do you think it's going to be a case where, hey, we made 200%, I'm good? And of course, buying, there's also selling. Robin.
Yeah, this isn't novice investors. This isn't someone that just downloaded the Robinhood app that saw a green number on their portfolio and are getting excited and cashing out. These are people that have portfolios already, that have already made money in the markets. Now, are there some novice investors in Wall Street that maybe picked up ETFs? Sure. Is that number dwarfed in comparison to the long-term hodlers, or perhaps people that already have a long-term vision on their portfolio? And this is basically a position or a diversification in their portfolio. I think that's probably what we're going to see. I do think that if there are outflows, I think it's traders looking at the market. And so if we do see a situation where we're at 80,000, I don't think that it's people exiting the market. If you see a sell-off or outflows on the ETFs, I think it's that savvy investor that's looking at the market saying, hey, this is overbought. We're due for a correction. Let me sell my position now, turn a profit. And when the correction comes in, I'll scale back in. I think that's more likely, but I don't think it's people that are just going to be like, hey man, I made some money. I'm done. I'm pushing in the chips. This is savvy investors. Also, right now we're in the accumulation phase. We are in the onboarding phase, right? So we have a new product that is now available to the millions of people that buy and sell on Wall Street. Remember, there is millions of people that don't have exposure to Bitcoin, didn't have any means of getting it, had no interest in using an exchange, whether they trusted it or not. And now you're just onboarding new people. And we're so early into this market, right? We're so early into Bitcoin and it being offered by Wall Street. And we're 2 months in. And so I think that perhaps 6 months from now, a year from now, 3 years from now, maybe there's more of a saturation on people's exposure to Bitcoin as far as, how many people are holding it in Wall Street. But right now, we're just scratching the surface. We have another 10x amount of people that are going to get a position on Bitcoin that don't have any right now. And so the outflows are very far away, in my opinion. Do we have some sells? Do we have some sell pressure from Wall Street? I do think when the market gets overheated, we'll get some sell pressure. The smart money will come in, push the price down, and take advantage of a market that's overextended. But I don't think that we're even close to slowing down the inflows.
Or same question to you.
Yeah, so I do think that a lot of these funds are very likely allocating based on a percentage target weighting. So like, let's just say they've allocated 3% of their fund to Bitcoin, or 1%, 2%, what have you. And they started, especially the early ones that have been allocating now for a while. And let's just say their average price that they've allocated towards Bitcoin is $50K. Well, if all of a sudden in the next, month or two, Bitcoin's at 100K and they're up 2x, right? And now all of a sudden Bitcoin's outperformed everything else in their portfolio. They very likely start selling down to rematch, because then, if they have a 3% allocation target and then all of a sudden Bitcoin is 6% or 5 or 6% of their portfolio, their goal is to be at 3%. So they kind of have to sell in order to get back down to 3%. So that's like the dampening effect that I do think that this ETF will have on Bitcoin once all the dust settles. I think you'll get less upside eventually. And I know we are re-rating and Bitcoin's currently repricing because of all the demand that is coming in. And the inflows are very, very, very high. And that's causing Bitcoin to go up. But I do think that you'll start to see those ebbs and flows of corrections caused by profit taking due to funds trying to rebalance toward a target percentage. That's like the main source of selling. I think we'll see. I also think eventually you'll start to see minor, like we start going up to 100, 120, 130K. I do think at those price targets you'll start to see miners start to sell, probably lock in profits and lock in runway down the road. And that's just part of Bitcoin. Miners have to sell and cover their energy costs and cover their pay back some debt and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty bullish. I don't think that you're going to see. I mean, some people are going to hodl, of course, especially on the retail side, especially on like the crypto native side. I think some people just they look at Bitcoin as a very long term investment and they're not going to want to sell. But I do think you'll get some selling for various reasons from funds and from miners at higher levels. If Bitcoin moves 2x from here, pretty decent, pretty reasonable to buy Bitcoin at 40, 50K and then sell it at 140. I don't think that'd be an unreasonable time to take profits at all.
I'm glad you brought up the market dynamics when it comes to the miners because let's face it, we're right at all-time highs with Bitcoin, and the miners have operated at a Bitcoin price between 16 and 40,000 for years. And so now they're mining Bitcoin that is essentially worth, 2x from, an average of 2x of what it's been for the last couple of years. They don't have to liquidate all their Bitcoin as it's mined to cover costs. They've been operating with Bitcoin rewards at half the price. And so now they're mining and they're not selling. And so there's an accumulation of Bitcoin that is not hitting the markets from the miners. And that's because the price is in the green. And not to mention, the miners have to be forward looking and saying, hey, the rewards are about to be cut in half, which basically means revenue is going to be cut in half. And we need to account for that, right? If all of a sudden one person's going to be out of work out of the household, if you have a 2-parent household and one person, the wife is pregnant, she's going to be out of work for a year, but both of you work, you're probably going to save money right before she delivers a baby, right? Right before before she goes out of work, you're going to have half the income coming in. You're probably going to save some money before she leaves. And that's what the miners are doing. They see the halving coming. They're making all-time high revenue on this Bitcoin, and they know the profits are going to be cut in half. They're hodling it, at least holding it for the moment until post-halving when prices for Bitcoin are most certainly going to be higher than they are now. And so something else to think about when it comes to supply and demand. And as we've alluded to at the beginning of this show, the amount of inflows or amount of Bitcoin that is getting sucked up by these ETFs, particularly BlackRock and Fidelity and the other the other 9, it doesn't mathematically really add up to not going up in price from where we're at now. Now, I do want to give a little shout out to new people here. If you are new, say hello. So Big Rob can jump an Ola back at you. We got Metal Gear, we got Crypto Ronin, Danny Y, Maka, Baddest Bunny, A Mercy, Chasing, Federico, Kinbari, Dan G, also Mutu, Alex, Lee, Mason, Lectanera, to all of you. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Someone said 200% is chump change. I agree, but you got to remember, these investors, 200% in a year is like winning the lottery. Keep that in mind. All right, let's move on to this piece of news from Sony. Sony's set to integrate NFTs into its ecosystem with a new patent filing called the Super Fungible Token. The patent, unveiled on February 29th, introduces a groundbreaking system known as the Super Fungible Token. This innovative approach aims to reshape in-game mechanics by allowing players to consolidate their diverse gaming assets into a single NFT. The core concept of this Super Fungible Token is both intriguing and promising. It enables players to merge their gaming assets into a unified token, which is then stored on a designated blockchain. Forrest, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, gaming is one of the markets that has kind of long been thought to be very disruptible by blockchain tech. Your in-game digital assets, there were markets for them there, in games that were tradable. I think Diablo was one that comes to mind, World of Warcraft, one that comes to mind, where there is no kind of inbuilt systems. Actually in Diablo, there was a marketplace where you could actually trade for real money and real value. You've got Counter-Strike, another one where these skins can trade for very, very high valuations. But being able to do that on the blockchain and have it all transparent and have a system that's specifically designed for value transfer, allow you to trade these digital items as NFTs, just adds a lot of value to gaming, right? It's one thing to game and to have fun, but imagine you get lucky and you open up a loot box or something, and you could essentially win the lottery by gaming, right? You open up a loot box that has a skin that's worth $20,000, and all of a sudden that's a huge win. So I think it's just adding a value layer to gaming, and it's interesting that Sony's getting involved. I think it's just right now, a lot of people, it's a narrative right now in the crypto space. Everyone's very bullish on blockchain gaming because of the amount of value that it potentially unlocks. So yeah, it's good to see that narrative get reinforced.
I don't think they announced which blockchain they're going to use unless someone knows, unless you guys have heard. I didn't see it in the article or I haven't heard it. But Rob, what are your thoughts on this super fungible token? And what are your thoughts on Sony kind of taking the charge here? Now we're going to see more of this from, let's say, Microsoft or any other game developer.
I don't know what why they got to throw the super on there, right? Just call it just bringing NFTs to the PlayStation, right?
But it's a super NFT because it's unique.
That's marketing.
It's superbly unique.
Yeah. Well, what makes it so super?
Robin, it enables players to merge their gaming assets into one unified token.
So one wallet.
One token.
Yeah.
Instead of having, let's say you're playing a game, instead of having this skin is an NFT, this skin is an NFT.
I get it.
You group it all into one super
in one wallet.
token.
Yeah, that's really what they're doing.
And just come on, man.
That's all it is. They have multiple NFTs.
You are such a Debbie Downer, bro.
I just think the super NFT is it's a marketing ploy.
Why do you focus on the dumb stuff?
Why can't I just say it's
Let's focus on the important thing here. It's not super.
Can I just make my point?
Go ahead.
Super just sounds dumb. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Okay. But I know what, you know what? They are marketing to the people that play video games. And the very, very simple marketing tactics here, super, alpha. There's, I don't know. It's all part of the marketing. Okay. So here we go. Fortnite. They had last year $840 million were spent in in-game.
How much?
140, or excuse me, no, I messed that up. $840 million were spent on in-game content in Fortnite in 2021. So they brought in $5.5 billion in revenue last year in 2023. So let that sink in. Almost $1 billion in 1 year in V-Bucks, and revenue for the entire company across the board was over $5 billion last year. So it's a market that once they get exposure to NFTs, and it's not I don't think it's a question of if, it's more a question of when, right? And not to mention, I mean, how much money is probably lost by not operating with a more efficient ledger, right? Because you have all of these like gift cards that you buy at Walgreens where you load up money, and then there's transaction fees. It would be a lot. I feel like the business model would probably have less pain points if it was operating on a blockchain. You didn't have cards that expired. So it's a win for everybody. And so I think it just makes sense for that marketplace. And these games are absolutely huge on how much money flows into them. And that's just one game. $1 billion annually. It was one game. I mean, you also, you have was it Roblox? There's Minecraft, Call of Duty. There's the list. Those are the kids ones too. Those are the ones for the younger generations. And then you get into the games where adults that have large salaries, they're playing games too. The Counter-Strike, kids ain't playing that. That's grown-ups with bank accounts. Like they drop money on League of Legends. Those are grown-ups. And so the amount of money that flows into those, because you have people that have their own income, also, on another note, I think Forrest was saying that you can find these like rare loot boxes. There is streamers out here that open up packs of they open up packs of cards, right? And so what we've seen before, or what I've seen before, is literally hundreds, if not thousands of people watching a streamer open up NFT packs. Not NFT packs, but loot packs. And they buy a pack for $5 and they just open them up to see if they get a rare item. And then when they get a rare item, they get all euphoric. So 69.2.
We pumping.
We're getting back up there.
Are we gonna get to 70K before we end the show?
I don't know. We only got like 5 minutes left, right?
I know. Hey, man, 5 minutes is not a long time for Bitcoin, right? Do you guys remember the Bitfinex hack? The couple, the lady, Razzle-Kaz?
Oh, the weirdos?
Yeah.
She was strange. She was a rapper, right?
Well, guess what, Robin? Movie's coming out.
Ooh.
A Bitfinex heist movie. And
is it going to be like a good movie or is it going to be like a Netflix documentary?
they have casted Chloe Grace Moretz as Razzle Khan. This is what she looks like. And if you forgot what our Razzle Khan looks like,
never forget, weirdest is most original. This song is for the
how much did they steal again? How many billions of dollars?
Like 4
$6 billion.
The Versace better win.
Razzle Khan. So we're assuming Chloe Moretz Grace or Grace Moretz is maybe taking some rapping lessons. But I just thought this was very comical.
There
are so many good
attractive
listen,
actress, man.
No, I'm not saying she's not attractive.
No, but what I'm saying is that
she's gonna have to get unattractive for the role.
Yeah, the Razzle Khan.
Razzle dazzle.
I don't want to comment on women's looks.
Yeah, comment on your looks.
She's got to step it down a notch. Yeah.
You know, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Did you see the price of Bitcoin shooting?
No, I was gonna say, what? There are so many storylines in crypto that can make phenomenal movies. Sam Bankman-Fried, Razzle Dazzle,
Razzle Dazzle,
a former or content creator. Anyways, we'll kind of leave it at that.
And then they did get a $1.99 super chat from Billy Goats. Super califragilisticexpialidocious. Threw a long one out there. And then did have a Jesus coin plug here earlier. And yeah. Are we gonna just sit here and watch the price like the loading screen on an excited?
I don't know, man. We
You
could
think
break all-time high
snack
again
70?
on the show. Forrest, can you pull up a Bitcoin chart on like a super low time frame? Just humor me, please. I want to hit all-time high on this damn show live. Yes.
How's that?
What is that, a 1 minute chart?
No, this is an hourly chart.
We got to go down to like the 1 second chart, man.
Get out of here, man.
1/10 of
1
a
second
second.
chart.
We're
Here's
gonna
the
open
5
up
minute.
a 25
5 minute. Look at that. Break a structure on the 5 minute, guys. Bitcoin's dumping. Damn it.
No, it's going up. We're good. We broke through. This horizontal line is 69,000. That's kind of your big previous all-time high level that was, tapped here before we crashed. Broke through today. Couldn't sustain. But the more time we spend above $69,000, the better. Last time we only spent, here. We didn't even spend any time. We just kind of tapped $69,000 on Binance. Let's go over to the minute chart. We spent a grand total of 5.5 minutes above $69,000 earlier today, this morning. And so far, we are getting on the 1 minute, a little back test of 69K. We'll see if demand comes in or we spill back down below. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, another 5 minutes above $69,000. Every minute we spend above 69K is precious time. It looks like we're just spilling off back down below. See if we hold support on that. But yeah,
Right, damn it, Bitcoin.
minute chart. Just wouldn't get too alarmed about moves on this chart. If we go out to maybe the 15 minute, we see another stab up there.
I'm so disappointed in you, Bitcoin, and people who are buying and selling Bitcoin. I really wanted to get to 70K by the show, man. All right. Can you get rid of that stupid button, Robin? For the love of God. You know what, actually?
What are you going to do?
You might have a surprise when you come in here on Monday, Rocco. Forrest. Well, before I go in, Forrest, I want to give one more shout out to our channel sponsor, Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you want to learn how they can help your business scale and grow, visit bluewiretech.com. Also, big shout out to I Need Some Caffeine Crypto. Great times. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much, buddy. We appreciate you.
Quick question. Since markets opened up pretty strong on Monday last week, what do you think the price of Bitcoin is when we start the show Monday next week? I'll ask you first, David.
85K. I'm kidding. I'm with you. I think we're over 70.
I mean, what's the number? Give me a number.
70.
Wait, give me a number.
72.5.
72.5. Forrest, what do you think? What do you think Bitcoin's price looks like Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific time when Sin City Crypto goes live?
We'll go 77 even.
What?
77.
You're the what?
All right, so 72.5. We'll revisit this.
What about you?
Monday.
What about you?
I think 73.8.
Okay, chat. What is your prediction? Bitcoin's price 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday when Sin City Crypto starts their show. What is your price? Let us know. Very interesting. Guys, if you enjoy Forrest, you want to make money with some of his research. A lot of people in our community have made a lot of money with some insight Forrest provides through his research hub. There is a link in the description of this video. Click the link. He was kind enough to give everyone from the Sin City community special discount. So if you use the code OLA25, OLA, the number 2, the number 5, you'll save 25% off. I know I've made money with it. Robin has, Rocco has. I know a few of our community members has. So Forrest, just an absolutely brilliant mind in our space. We love him. Also, he does have a YouTube channel. I would also recommend you go follow him on Twitter at Sistine Research. And we do, Rocco, can you pin that to the top? We're going to pin the YouTube channel to the top of this comment section here. We love Fridays because Forrest joins us every Friday. Forrest, any words of wisdom heading into the weekend, my friend?
Sorry about the train in the background. If you can hear that, it's about to get loud.
Kidding.
No, it looks like Bitcoin's trying to break it. I mean, it's taken out 69K again, and it's holding above it, looking really solid. I think I'm, very, very, very bullish on Dogecoin right now. But I am biased. I have a big Dogecoin long in. I'm kind of bullish on meme coins in general. And other than that, just looking forward to weekend price action as long as it's positive, right? We don't want to see a big dump over the weekend, but yeah.
No stupid dumps,
I think
okay?
Alts probably run over the weekend. What's that?
I was talking to all the traders. No stupid dumps, okay, guys? Don't over leverage, okay, David? Guys?
I think, the ETF flows push up Bitcoin dominance during the week, and then the ETF kind of, isn't tradable over the weekend. So I think that's a good time for alts to start running a little bit, but we'll see if Bitcoin runs and steals the show here. But
also,
other than that, I bullish. Things are looking good.
Quick shout out to a handful of new people here spotted last minute. Okay. We got Ken Bari, Famous Production, Saripto, Soli, Zokor, Obetsti, Roberto, Monty, McKinsey, and Martinell. Hola! Gary Austin in here too. And Robert Nitz.
$4,000 Bitcoin, huh? Anyways, Rocco. $4,000 Bitcoin. What the hell's wrong with you guys? We hope you enjoy this week. We have a couple big guests lined up. We have someone from the Trump Coin team joining us. We also have James Butterfield from CoinShares going to break down the ETFs. Going to be a big week. Have a great weekend. We love you guys. See you next week.
Every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Name the coin that's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy a dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us meme coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming, hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be late.